Hello, this is Elliot with Wattworks, and on today's video we're going to put some Castle Performance horsepower into the 318 Ti rally car. So before I go and install the ECU into the car, I just kind of want to hit on the packaging, which I find was the only reason I want to hit on it because I thought it was very professional and well done packaging. So he sends the ECU in a electrostatic sensitive bag, so that you'll see that control boards and circuit boards usually come in these. So the ECU came in that nice bag, and then it also came in this welly packaged box. So it comes with their decal, and it has a warning on it that it is an electrostatic sensitive device that's inside the package. Very nice, well done foam. It arrived unharmed and ready to rock and roll to my shop. And it also came with a butt ton of stickers that we're going to definitely put all over the rally car and in the engine bay. As far as the tune goes, so I sent my actual ECU to him and he sent the actual ECU back. It's not like I sent my ECU and then he just sent a random one off the shelf. This is my ECU that I sent him. He sent it directly back to me. It's got writing on it, it's got my stickers on it. So whenever when you get it back from them, it'll come with his decal on it, and then it also comes with this sticker. So he puts a label on the side of the ECU that kind of tells you everything that he did. So this is a BMW M52 MS41.1 Castle Performance Plus tune. So this is the Ultimate Swap Delete, or the Ultimate Swap DME tune. So what that includes was an EWS delete, a muffler flap delete, SAP delete, post-cat O2 delete. I had him lower my RPM, or my rev limiter to 6,800 RPM. That way, since I'm on dirt and with rally, I'll be high up in the RPMs and bouncing off rev limiter a lot. That'll kind of keep the engine safer longer. It'll be a lot easier on the engine that I'm not all the way up as far as the engine can go on rev limiter. Kind of backs things down and will prolong the life of the engine in racing, because with rally, you're miles and miles away from your pit, and you need rally is a marathon, not a sprint. So definitely going to prolong the life of the engine. And then the funniest part down here is they have in quotes above their email address on here, it says World Champions of the World, which I think that's pretty funny and hilarious, so I like it. So that's a review of the packaging and everything, and now we're gonna go put it in the rally car and check out how it does. So now we got to install our ECU back in. So if you didn't go and if you were running an automatic transmission controller like myself, I hope you labeled them. If you're running a normal manual transmission wiring harness, you're fine. You're only going to have an ECU plug, not a trans controller plug. If you forgot to label them, one thing to note, that the ECU plug, the latch is on the side that's away from where the wiring goes in, and on the trans controller side, the latch is on the wire side. So if you forgot to label them, that's one way to know the difference. So we're going to hook up our Castle Performance tuned ECU. Stuff that back in there. Yes, that's not done right. I still need to do the brackets and seal that off. Maybe put some foam or something in there so that way it reduces vibrations on the ECU. As far as trans controller, this is an automatic wiring harness. Automatic transmission wiring harness has a trans controller. However, it does not require this to be plugged in for the engine to run and the car to drive down the road. However, it'll cause issues if it's not plugged in, because the computer is looking for this inside the engine or inside the circuitry. But in order to avoid all that, Castle Performance told me that you pull this apart and there's a computer chip inside, an EEPROM. You're going to pull this apart and pluck that EEPROM out, put this back together, and then you can plug it back in, and you won't have any issues of the computer looking for this, or the ECU looking for the trans controller. Another reason to keep it plugged in and not just like unplug it and throw it away is, especially if you're racing, you don't want a bunch of terminal ends left open. So this is a bunch of openness. Yes, it will be stuffed in there, but I mean, I don't like the idea of those being open. I want to have this plugged in so everything's sealed up. So I'm going to pull this apart later and pull out the EEPROM, plug it in, and seal everything back up before we start racing and driving down the road. Okay, so we're in the car, in neutral. We got the battery on. We're going to turn our fan on. Don't mind the wiring. That's still getting figured out yet. I got to build a center console and all that stuff, but that's another video. So clutch and brake in neutral, key on. A few lights come up, everything primes. Starts right up. The only light on the dash right now is the ABS light, because I don't have my my position sensors hooked up on the front knuckles, but we don't really need those. So right now, since the engine's cold, it's going to have an idle of 1100 RPM around there, so it's sitting at about 1100 right now. I will say with this tune, it is much snappier. So very, very snappy throttle response, even with questionable vacuum line running on my end. I gotta go through and double check a few things on the engine. Also, I still have the throttle cable from the 318 Ti instead of a 328, so I do still have to switch the throttle cable out, but check engine light went away. It's no longer, and everything's happy as can be. So, very happy with the tune. Very happy with everything from shipping to packaging to performance of the tune. I still got to drive the car down the road yet, but I still need to bleed my clutch a little bit more because I know that's not grabbing just right. But other than that, that's my responsibility. But the tune runs great. E-check lights go away. A really nice thing that he offers is that he matches the VIN number of the ECU to the VIN of the chassis. So you send him your VIN on your chassis, and then with your information when you call him. And not only does he deletes all your EWS, he deletes emissions crap, deletes the the rear O2 sensors, so you don't have to worry about those. And it adds, without the M3 cams and without the M50 manifold, just adding this tune and deleting all that stuff, it adds 15 horsepower, which is nice. He can adjust your rev limiter. I had him lower mine to 6,800 RPM because I'm going to be high up in the RPM and I want to prolong the life of my engine. So, very flexible. They do a great job. If you do the M3 cams and the M50 manifold, I believe it adds like 24 horsepower. Very fast shipping, very great tune. I sent it to him on a Saturday. It came back to me on a Thursday evening. So in and out in under a week. Granted, it was only going from Ohio to Pennsylvania in shipping, but in and out in a week for only 250 bucks. That's a phenomenal deal for 15 horsepower and no emissions and check engine light. So Castle Performance, they're located out of York, Pennsylvania. They did a phenomenal job. I will definitely use them for the rest of my builds and my projects. Even when I might do M3 cams and M50 manifold now and then have them tune it again, but to get that extra 10 horsepower and foot-pounds. But great, very happy overall, and I'll probably use him for the rest of my builds. I know we want to do a drift car here soon, so we'll probably use it for that as well. And maybe even do something for the E90, because I know he offers some stuff for E90s with the N52 and the N54 engines. But again, Castle Performance, beyond happy with their work. Check them out. I'll have everything below in the description. It's castleperformance.com, I believe. Go check them out. If you're looking for a swap tune, they're very knowledgeable. Give them a call. He'll help you out. Guy knows a ton of information about doing all this stuff. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like the video, check out my website. It's wattworksfabrication.com. Hit up all the social medias, give me a follow and a like, and stay tuned for another video on the 318 Ti rally car build.